Welcome to the Sarah Naava Show, where we share our stories so God gets the glory. This show was created to provide a platform, to provide a space for believers to share their story, to share their testimony, to share the good news, how God has delivered you, how God has freed you, how God has healed you, or whatever your story may be. Now, I'm sure you're watching this and wondering, who is Sarah Naava? Before I can talk about Sarah Naava, I have to talk about Bre Anna. I grew up in church, a faithful churchgoer, a dedicated believer. Now, right around the age of 18, things started to shift a little bit. I was stepping into my freedom, stepping into adulthood. I was introduced to whom some may consider your first love. And now as I'm stepping into the scene of dating, I'm thinking, oh, my dreams are about to come true. I had a dream to be married. I had a dream to be a wife, have my 10 kids, live on a farm. That's another story for another day. But it seemed like my dream was about to come true. Of course, during this relationship, I started to experience a little bit of guilt because as I grew up in the church, I knew the do's and I knew the do not. And so living with a man and fornicating, that was definitely not a part of God's plan for me. So now I'm thinking, well, let's talk about marriage. As I married this man, I started to experience things I've never dealt with before. Infidelity, infertility. And I'm asking God, what is going on? This relationship ultimately ended in separation and divorce, and it caused my heart to turn cold. I felt hurt. I felt disappointed because I tried to do it God's way. I tried to do it the church way, and yet here I am, brokenhearted. This catapulted me into sin. I allowed this rebellious nature to overtake me because I wasn't dealing with the hurt of my first relationship. I ended up pregnant at the age of 22. I won't say I was disappointed in that because truly I wanted a child, but I started to experience something else, and that was abuse. It started off as emotional abuse. But in that relationship, I already had made the decision I was gonna stay because I didn't wanna raise a child in a broken home. But there was one thing that transpired in that relationship that I wasn't gonna put up with, and that was infidelity. So now that I'm dealing with a broken heart yet again, I'm running right back into sin, refusing to be accountable, refusing to deal with the hurt that I've now caused myself. I wind up pregnant again at the age of 24. Now this time it was different because I'm dealing with the opinions of people, the pressures of this becoming my life. I didn't see my life this way. And so I started to battle the thought of abortion. And I went to church that Sunday, and my pastor was preaching about this vision that he had to create an ultrasound bus to help mothers, new mothers who were battling with the ability to raise a child on their own or whatever the circumstance may be. He said something so powerful, which was, God is the giver of life. If God gave me this child, he knew that I was capable to raise him. So that changed my whole perspective, and I decided to go about my pregnancy with God. This is how my story began, stepping into adulthood. But that's not how my story will end. Stay tuned to discover how God changed my name on the next episode on The Sarah Naava Show.